So in 2002, Steven Spielberg had Minority Report come out in the summer. Well, in February to May, he was filming Catch Me If You Can, which came out in December of 2002. He had two movies come out in 2002, and he was literally filming one of those movies in 2002. This man knows how to get crap done. Catch Me If You Can. Released in 2002, this film was directed by Steven Spielberg and starred Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, and Christopher Walken. And this movie is actually based on a true story or true events that happened in 1960s about this young kid who's played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and basically is about the life of his parents going through a divorce, which leads Leonardo DiCaprio to run away from his life and go on the run as a person who is forging checks. And he basically fakes and bullshits through everything throughout his entire young life. Before the age of 19, it becomes a doctor, a lawyer, a substitute teacher at one point, and a pilot. Now the thing about this movie is, this movie was very just different from Spielberg because he just released Minority Report, which was very different and very just not Spielberg. Then he made this movie, which is definitely, as he called it, a movie that everyone just can love, a feel-good movie, a movie that people can like. And honestly, watching it, it is 100% that. It's a movie that if you watch, honestly, I don't see why you hate this movie. Yes, the story is not a very lovable story. I mean, it's about a young kid who basically is just forging everything in his life to get to millions of dollars, to get to the high life, and it's a very interesting take because of Spielberg's direction, the score by John Williams, and the performances. And that is why I think this is a top one, maybe the most underrated Spielberg movie ever made. First things first, at the time as well, when everyone heard Leonardo DiCaprio, the guy who, I love Leo, and at the time, Leo was Titanic, and he was like one of the best actors working, and they were like, oh, Spielberg's got him and Tom Hanks? Oh man. And it does not live the hype. I mean, the hype is there, guys. Leo is fantastic. And what really you gotta sell with this movie is, he's a young kid who's very attractive to all the ladies, and in 1960s especially, he's the hot kid. He's the guy that all the girls love. Amy Adams falls in love with him when he becomes a doctor, and that leads into a great story with Martin Sheen, whatever. I loved all of that stuff, and the man, Leo, is so underratedly good in this movie, and especially his Boston accent is fantastic, and we see his character in the very beginning dealing with this divorce, and we get to see it, and it's very dramatic, and Spielberg does a really good job with that, showing this character who, yes, did terrible things, millions of dollars forged to this kid who really did do this. It's based on a true story. This really happened, but the movie gives him life. We care about Leo. We want to kind of see him get away, which I really liked. The direction and the storytelling of this movie was well edited by the editors. The cinematography, definitely way better. No more bright whites as much as Minority Report and AI, but there's a few moments of that. But again, this movie is really relying on Leo, and he fantastically plays this really well. As a pilot, as a lawyer, as a doctor, there's great funny scenes, intense scenes, very dramatic scenes. Leo is fantastic in this movie. Now, without Leo, we gotta talk about Tom Hanks, who plays the cop chasing after him. He plays an FBI agent, actually. And Tom Hanks, in my opinion, is criminally underrated. And I'm sorry, okay, Christopher Walken is really good in this movie. He plays the dad of Leo. At the time, Christopher Walken was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this movie. In my opinion, I would have given the Supporting Actor nomination to Tom Hanks. This man brings so much to this character. Dramatic moments, you care for him, the comedy to this character, the intensity. I mean, Tom Hanks is fantastic. I mean, Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks, guys. But this movie, he's really good. I mean, I love hearing like his character. Like, he's always sort of lying to Leo, and he's always trying to go after him. But Leo kind of respects him, and I love when he calls me, he apologizes to him. He's like, please, just stop chasing me. He's like, I can't do that. This is my job. I'm gonna get you. Like, I love those scenes, and Tom Hanks is so good because you don't hate his character because you think it's the FBI agent. You're chasing after this really crazy guy, whatever, which again, it gives him more character. And Tom Hanks, you actually like him, and you kind of are like, you know, he is doing his job. He's going after him. And that's why this movie's so well. It's so well acted and great dialogue and editing. It fits the story well. And that's why it's more of a crowd pleaser and people can watch this movie and just love it and love the costume designs of the 1960s and seeing all that stuff. I mean, when he becomes a pilot, it is literally fantastic how much he bullshits through so much stuff to get the suit, mailing the bill, like the envelope, and peeling off from the plane toy the little sticker and putting it on the check. It's so well smart, even though nowadays none of this shit could work. In the 1960s, all this crap worked. And it's so unbelievable, but after the movie's over, you want to look it up. Like, you want to read more about what happened to this guy. And a good job at the very end of this movie actually explaining things that the actual guy went on to do, which I don't want to really spoil to because I know a lot of people don't watch this movie, and I want them to see this movie, and it's cruelly underrated. Again, the performances are out of this world. John Williams' score is fantastic. Spielberg's direction is so just well done. Again, the editing is so good. The movie does a really good job at just making you care about these characters, which really you shouldn't, but it makes you feel that way, and that's why it's a crowd pleaser. I will give Catch Me If You Can an A-. If you've not seen this movie, once again, it is an underrated Spielberg movie, just like Minority Report, just like this one. Very underrated. And actually, tomorrow we are reviewing The Terminal, another underrated Spielberg movie that I want to talk about. Anyway, guys, enjoy this review, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye, guys.